Right, come and lie down onto your backs. And just lie down, take your arms out nice and wide. We've done this a couple of times, and just stretch your legs up towards the sky. Softness in the knees, so you don't have to worry about the tightness in the hamstrings. Just lift the legs up and give the ankles a bit of a move around. I know it feels funny at first, but just let any pressure or weight drain from the ankles and the knees. Wriggle the toes and then stretch the toes back out. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. And then just land the feet to the floor. And a couple of times just sway the knees from side to side, rocking through the hips and the lower back. And then when you've done that and you feel like you've moved both sides an even amount of times, just come back, rest in the center, plant the feet and bring the hands onto the belly. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Now just taking a few breaths to be more still, to drop down through the shoulders, the lower back, and just let everything settle. And if you feel like the breath is just in the chest, try and push the breath down into the belly. So there's a deeper breath, a breath that is all the way down beneath the hands. And maybe you even notice a slight rise and fall in the space beneath the lower back as well. So as you inhale, there's this slight lift. And as you exhale, you're almost able to push more of the lower back into the floor. Inhale, expand. Exhale, draw the waist in, push the lower back to the floor. Take 2 more there, breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep that engagement. So keep the waist pulling in, tailbone slightly tucked under. Bring the arms down by the side, push into the hands and lift your hips up towards the sky. One straight long line from shoulders to your hips to your knees, squeezing the glutes so you're turning on the muscles that are going to support your hips, your lower back as we practice. So really engage, find that strength, drive the feet down, grip the mat with your toes and feel the backs of the legs work even harder. Hold it here for 5. Lift 4. Pull the waist in 3. Drive your feet down 2. And then on 1, roll the spine down. So take your time, really carefully, really slowly, pulling the waist in. So 1 vertebrae comes down to the ground at a time. And then hug the knees into the chest. Give both knees a good squeeze in. And just pop one shin over the other. Rock up to a seat. Cross your legs. Sit nice and tall. Hands to the knees. Just take a shoulder roll. So pull them up. And then really draw them back and down. Pull the shoulders up. And really draw them back and down. Last one, pull them up. Squeeze the shoulders at the top. So feel that tension in the side of the neck. And then slowly pull them back and down. And then let them settle there. You can even turn the palms so they face up. Real softness across the arms, space across the chest. Pull in around the waist, lift taller through the spine. Chin into chest. So try and keep the shoulders relaxed. Roll your right ear to your right shoulder and let that left side of the neck stretch. Whilst you're there, see if you can pull the left shoulder down. So can you make some space from the left ear to the left shoulder? And then chin back into chest. Left ear, left shoulder, pull that right shoulder down. You might notice a little bit of a difference. If you come to this side and you're slightly tighter this side, tends to be, for most of us that are right-handed, our phone hand and our mouse hand, so tends to be a bit tighter. And then back through center, go once more, head to the right, pull the left shoulder down. And back through center. Last time. Stretch out that right side for 3. Pull the right shoulder down, 2. And then on 1, come back to center. Interlace the hands behind the back of the head. Lift the chest, pull the elbows out nice and wide. So open across the elbows, open across the collarbones. And then as you exhale, try and round and touch the elbows together. Inhale, lift and open. Pull the elbows back. Exhale, round. 3 more times. As you open, imagine you're sliding the shoulder blades down the back. Almost create a shelf on which you can lift the chest and round. We'll talk about that a bit more as we go through the practice. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Very last one. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. And from there, take your hands forwards. Step your knees back, find all 4s. Hands and knees. Just move the shoulder blades. So keep the spine straight, but you're just going to let the shoulder blades pinch together. So your chest will drop slightly and then push into the back of the shoulder blades and stretch the shoulder blades wide. So it's not quite cat-cow. We're just pinching the shoulder blades and stretching them apart. Pinching the shoulder blades together and stretching them apart for 5. Apart. 4. Apart. 3. Apart. 2. Apart. Last one, hold that quite rounded shape through the shoulders and then tuck the tailbone and look in as well. So it's a curl through the whole back body. Inhale, open the chest, opening through the whole front body. Exhale, round. So it's a bigger movement now. Inhale, forwards, open the chest. Exhale, arch and round. Just one more, look forwards. Open and then round. Tuck your toes, slide the hips back up to the sky, stretch into your first downward facing dog. So just have a good move around the feet. Maybe bend quite deep into the knees and then straighten the legs. Give your head a gentle rock around, a shake from side to side, just making sure you're not clenching, pushing the hands down evenly so the weight is spread through all parts of the hand that are in contact with the mat. So all 10 knuckles, all 10 fingers, heel of the hand. Lift your hips a bit higher, pull the waist in a little more, and then rest both knees down to the ground. Take your right leg back, reach your right arm up to the sky. So you have a side plank facing over to the right, but that left knee is down. And then your right arm, just reach it overhead so you get a big long stretch through the side body. Like you're trying to pull that right hand over towards the top of the mat. Big breath in. Big breath out. Bring it down back to all 4s and just close your eyes in all 4s. Notice the difference, the feeling down the right side compared to the left side. And then take the left leg back, reach your left arm up, big breath in and big breath out, side bend stretch. Can you reach those left fingertips past the top of your yoga mat? Really stretch and lengthen through the side of the body. Navel to spine. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly bring the left hand down. Back to all 4s. Tuck the toes into downward facing. So should be more length, more space now into the side of the body. Have another rock through the hips from side to side. Take your left leg high as you inhale. Reach that left leg up to the sky. And then as you exhale, pull that left knee into the chest. Hold it nice and strong in the chest. Try and bring it as far forwards as your arms. So can you really pull that left knee forwards? And then step. Rest the back knee down. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Pull the waist in. Lift up through the arms and slowly move into that right hip. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in And breathe out, just soften the shoulders a little. So you're thinking about that right hip driving forwards. And then lift the chest. Now imagine your shoulder blades sliding down the back. So you can almost lean back on the shoulder blades. So this idea of trying to let them shoulder blades create a shelf that you can almost lean onto the shoulder blades rather than leaning into the lower back. Slowly bring your hands down. Tuck the back toes, straighten your right leg and lift the left arm up to the sky, twist. So opening the chest, lifting up through those left fingertips. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. One more big breath. Exhale, slowly bring that left hand down, step back into downward facing dog. Pushing the hands down, lifting the hips, breathing in, breathing out. So strength down through the hands and the feet and this lightness and lift up through the hips. Take the right leg high, big breath. And then bring the right knee into the chest. Hold as far forwards as the elbows if you can. So the further forwards you can bring it, the more upper abdominal work. And then step. If you need to use the hand to help you step, that's fine. Rest the back knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. I don't remember how long it took me to be able to step forwards, but I think it was a very long time. So don't worry if you're still kind of pulling that back foot forwards. Slide the shoulder blades down the back and lift the chest over the shoulder blades. So all the lift is coming kind of waist up rather than into the lower back. Breathe here. Exhale. Trying to go forwards into that left hip. And then take both hands down. Tuck the back toes. Straighten that back left leg and reach the right arm up to the sky. Lift through your right fingertips. Pull your right thigh so it's close to the midline. Don't let that right thigh drop out too much. Lift and open the chest to the right side of the room. And then slowly bring that right hand down. Step back into downward facing dog. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Come forwards, rest to the hands and the knees. Take your right leg back again, reach that right arm up to the sky, side plank. And then take that right arm over a bigger side stretch. So try and reach even more through those right fingertips. If you feel really strong there and you want to go a bit deeper, stretch your left leg out so you have a full side plank. That left knee isn't resting now. You reach as much as you can. And then slowly bring the right hand down. Rest to both knees and take it to the other side. So first stage is left leg back, left arm lifts. And we come into that big side stretch. So reach the left arm overhead. Perfectly welcome to stay there. Still a super strong stretch. Or you take that right leg out as well. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Slowly bring both hands down. Just rest both knees. And then tuck the toes back into downward facing. Walk your hands and your feet together, just so that we can take the pressure off the wrists for a moment. Give the wrists a roll around. Relax the weight of the head. Breathe in and breathe out. Arms are heavy. Pull in through the waist, roll up through the spine. Really take your time. Super slow. Pulling the waist in. I'm sorry if you can hear my belly rumbling. I'm so hungry. I don't know if the microphone can pick it up. Take your right hand, hold around your left wrist so you have a hold of the wrist, and you're going to pull over to the right. At the same time, try and push your hips to the left. So instead of just thinking about the upper body coming over, I want you to think about pushing the lower body over to the left. So you make this big half moon shape. And then back to center. Take hold of the right wrist, lift up, grow tall, And then side bend over. Yeah, that's it. So you've got a bit more space. Push your hips to the right. Really try and drive them over to the right side of the room. And then inhale, lift up to center. Bend the knees, fold the body forwards, take the hands down to the floor. Relax the head, shake out through the back of the head and the neck. Take a big breath in. Big breath out, step back into downward facing dog. So you're pulling in through the waist, you'll be able to lift the hips nice and high now. So really lengthening from your hips to your rib cage, from your ribs to your shoulders, down to your hands. Soften the back of the neck. So the head is like a free weight. You're not trying to carry or resist the weight of the head. Take your left leg high up to the sky, lift that left leg high. And then pull your left knee into the chest. If it doesn't come all the way, use your left wrist, pull the left foot forwards, high lunge, lift yourself all the way up. So lower body strong. Bend that back knee a bit, so just a bit more stable in the lower body. Take your right hand and just bring it into the lower back. So if I turn around, just so you can see, my little finger is at the bottom and my thumb is at the top. And now I can feel how much compression is in my lower back. So I want you to keep that hand there as an indicator. You're only allowed to move above your thumb. So lift the chest and slightly arch back, only above the thumb. And then bring the right hand to join. And now go a little bit deeper into the thighs. Breathe in and out. Big breath. Exhale, warrior two, left arm forwards, right arm back. So we kind of keep this safe zone underneath the hand, if you will, an area where we're trying not to compress. Flip the left palm. And then take your right hand to the lower back again. So feel that space in the lower back. See if you can lift and arch back only above the thumb. So you might not feel you go as deep, but there'll be less compression. And then come forwards, left elbow, left thigh, right arm up and over. Long stretch through that right side of the body. Pull your waist in, bend more into that left knee. So you'll feel it in the left inner thigh. Go a little bit lower. Try not to dump all your body weight into that left elbow. Use your waist to hold back some of the body weight. And then rise back to warrior two. Straighten your left leg. Turn the left toes in and let the body fold forward. So you can soften the knees a little, bring the hands down, relax the head. Breathe in here and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Hold opposite elbows and just give a gentle sway from side to side. Let the knees bend as well, so you can let the body rock from left to right. Back of the neck nice and long. So no tension in the back of the neck. And then just settling with a stillness. Breathe in. Breathe out. Slowly round up through the spine. So take your time, curling all the way up. Pull the waist in as you roll up. And then you're just going to turn your feet to the top of the mat and just make sure that you're not on a tightrope. You've got a bit of space between the hips. Hands to the hips. You can bend the knees if it feels a little bit tight. Start to fold the body forwards. Folding forwards, folding forwards. Maybe until fingertips come down to the floor, or maybe blocks. If you have yoga blocks, this is, I think, one of the nicest places to use them, because you can rest your hands without worrying about your balance, and just slowly fold the body weight forwards. Start with the knees as bent as they need to be, and then you just slowly, with time, and time might be weeks or months, not seconds, with time, the legs will straighten. Head folds forwards. Lengthen into the back of the neck. And really try and drop the weight of the shoulders. So try not to carry the shoulders. Try to let that body weight pour forwards. And then look to the top of your mat. Walk the hands to the top of the mat so they go further forwards than those left toes. Push into the left leg and reach the right leg back behind you. So lift that right leg high. Belly pulls in, so try not to totally rest on the left leg. See if you can pull the belly in and make some space between your belly and the left thigh. Lifting that right leg back. Breathe in and breathe out. Long step back, slow step back. Take your right foot to the floor. High lunge, rise all the way up. Breathe in and breathe out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Rest your back knee down. Think about that almost safe zone in the lower back. If you want, place your hand there and see if you can lift the chest and then slightly arch back. So we go even more into that opening through the front of the body. 4, 3, but you feel safe and strong around the lower back. 2, 1, slowly bring the hands forwards and down and step back into downward facing dog. Lift the hips, lengthen the heels. Take a breath in and a breath out. Take a breath in and a breath out. Roll forwards to a plank position. Lower all the way down to the floor so body comes all the way to the ground. Point the toes. Again, think about that safe space in the lower back. Squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the glutes. Hands come off the floor. Only lift above that safe space. So the back stays flat. Shoulders are working. Chest is lifting. Hold for 3. Squeeze the glutes. Lift the chest for 2. And 1. Slowly take it down. Tuck the toes. Slide back into downward facing dog. Lifting the hips, stretching down the backs of the legs. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. Stay the way you are. I'm just going to spin so I can see you on the other side. From your downward facing dog, pushing through the hands, the knuckles, the fingers. Inhale, reach your right leg up to the sky. And then pull that right knee into the chest, carry it forwards if you need to, step that right foot forwards, rise up, high lunge. And then soften that back knee. Take your left hand to the lower back this time. So your left little finger is down by the sacrum, your thumb maybe around middle back. And then lift over your thumb. So not below, only over. And then take your left arm up as well to meet the right arm. So hopefully feel a bit more length in the waist. Take your right arm forwards, left arm back, warrior 2. And bend into that right knee. Pull the waist in, go a little lower in that right thigh. Hand to the lower back, your thumb as the marker. And then flip the right palm, lift your right arm up to the sky and arch the body back. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Slowly come forwards, right elbow, right thigh, left arm up and over. The more you go into that right knee, the more intense you're going to feel that inner thigh stretch. Space around the shoulders. So think, just check in that you're not squashing the side of the neck. Breathe here. And back to warrior 2. Engage and straighten your right leg. Pull the right toes in to face the side of the room and then dive the body forwards again into that fold. Just walk your feet a little bit closer together. Bend your knees and reach for the backs of the ankles. Pull yourself into a fold. So look between the legs. Let the back of the neck be long. And really try and pull forwards. Use your shoulders. So really do try and make it strong in the arms. So the barrier is not how far you think you can fold, it's that your arms are working so hard they can't pull you anymore. 3, 2, 1. Slowly roll up. Take your time. Bring your hands to your waist. And then just spin round to face the top of the mat again. Give yourself some space between the feet. And then my feet are probably like 2 or 3 feet apart, roughly. Hands to the hips. Maybe start with a softness in the knees. Pour the body weight forwards. Trying to go directly down the middle, so you're not leaning too much to the right. You're coming down the center, and then maybe the fingertips come to the floor. Relax the head. Shoulders are heavy. And when you get there, you might think about starting to straighten the legs. You might not be thinking about that for a while. That's where the blocks are quite nice, because you can straighten the legs much easier. And you get the idea of what it's meant to feel like. Pour the body weight forwards. 3, 2, looking to the top of the mat, and on 1, walking your hands forwards, pushing into that right foot, lifting the left foot up and back. Make space in between the belly and the right thigh. So you're just trying not to squash the front of the body. Pull the belly in, push your right foot down and lift your left leg higher. Try and think about that left foot being light. And then long step back, all the way to the back of the mat. Slow, rise up, high lunge. So think about your balance. And then carefully that back knee goes all the way down to the floor. Release the back toes. Take your left hand to the lower back. And again, use your thumb as your marker. Lift over the thumb. Open the chest. Maybe take your left arm back as well. 3, 2, 1. Slowly, hands come down to the floor. Step back into downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Roll the spine forwards. Come into your plank position. Now think about the lower back staying long. Pull the belly in. Squeeze your glutes. Slowly lower the hips as you look forwards. So trying to keep the lower back long. The chest is what moves forwards. Take your time. Gaze forwards. Squeeze the glutes, pull the belly in, lift back carefully into downward facing dog. Rest your knees. Keep your toes tucked. And just walk the hands back all the way in. Close the eyes, rest the hands on the thighs. Take a big breath. And exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. So just soften the shoulders. I know that's a strong stretch through the feet, but just stick with it for 2 more. 1 more. And then slowly come forwards, hands down. Release the toes, pat them to the floor if you like. Just shake the toes around. And then we go back into downward facing dog. So long stretch. Lifting the hips up, encouraging the heels down. Don't have to touch the floor, but just this constant trying to stretch into the Achilles, the backs of the heels, into the calves. And take your right leg up to the sky. So lift your right leg high. If you like, bend your right knee and slightly open the right hip. You might just want to stay reaching that right leg back. But if you want to, you can bend the knee. If you're bending the knee, try and pull your right foot into the back of your right hip. So almost in the way we were just kneeling, and we were almost sitting on the heel. See if you can bring them that close together. And then bring the right knee forwards. Step your right foot forwards. Rise up, high lunge. Lift and lengthen. And then slowly bend that back knee. It's going to come down towards the floor, but don't rest it. Just hold it there. Try and lift the spine taller. Take your left arm forwards, right arm back. So you've got a strong twist, quite active through the legs. Pull the waist in. Rest your back knee to the floor. Release the back toes. Stay facing the right side of the room. Bring your hands into a prayer. So facing the right side, hands in prayer, center of the chest. And then slide that left elbow outside of your right knee. Push down into that left tricep. So really try and open your chest up towards the ceiling. Big twist through the spine. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. As you breathe out, can you pull that right shoulder back? One more breath. Exhale. Look down to the floor. Take both hands down. And then tuck the back toes, straighten that back leg. So active again through your left thigh. Reach your hands to the top of your yoga mat. So just make the body slightly longer. Look down to the floor. Pull the waist in. And open through that left thigh. 3, 2, 1. Slowly rest the back knee. Walk your hands all the way back under the shoulders. And then wriggle your right foot forwards. So just stretch the right foot a little bit further forwards. And then you can straighten that right leg. So pull the right toes back. Feel the hamstring stretch. So feel a stretch in the underneath of the right thigh, maybe outside of the right hip. And then you're just going to step both hands over the right leg off the mat so that you are still stretching the hamstring, but now you pull into this left side of the waist as well. Keep that right leg active. So keep pulling your right toes back to the face. Keep it strong. And the more you reach those fingertips over to the right, the more you'll feel the left side. So you can decide how strong you want that stretch to be. I'm going to hold it for a good little while. I actually happen to have my watch here, so I can make us hold it for a little bit longer. Breathe. Give the body a chance to really feel it. You do 10 more seconds, that's a minute. So really stretching into the back of that right leg and the left side of the waist. Okay, and then bring it back. Place both hands down. Just take your right knee back next to your left knee. Push both hands into the floor. Slowly lift back into downward facing dog and just notice how the back of the right leg feels in comparison to the back of the left leg. Breathe there. Maybe can you feel the right heel go a bit further down? You might not notice it. Maybe you do. Take your left leg high, inhale. If you want to, bend the left knee, open the left hip. If you'd rather just keep the legs stretching up and back, then you can do. If you have bent that knee, try and pull your left heel into the back of the left hip. And then slowly pull that left knee in and step your left foot forwards, rising all the way up, high lunge. So arms come up to the sky. And then back knee softens. So it's about an inch off the floor. It feels like an inch off the floor. It's probably like 5, but you want to take it down so it feels that low. Left arm back, right arm forwards. So hold that strong twist. Pulling the belly in. And then carefully let the back knee come all the way down. So lower it till it touches the floor. So you're comfortable on that back knee, then bring the hands into prayer. So back knee's down on the ground, and then that right elbow can come outside of your left thigh. If anyone finds it uncomfortable being on your knee, what you can do is you can double up your mats, or you can always fold a towel and put it just underneath the middle section of your mat, because then your hands and your feet still have grip, but you have padding in the middle, which is usually where we're on our knees. Pull that left shoulder back. Try and make space around the top of the left shoulder. And then look down to the floor. Take both hands down inside of your left foot. Tuck the back toes, stretch that back knee off the ground. So now there's a long, active stretch through that right thigh. Keep your waist pulling in. Back of the neck stays long. Reach your arms a bit further forward so you get a longer stretch through the right side of the body. Breathe here. So you're keeping that right thigh engaged. So you're keeping the muscle on that right thigh working. And then we slowly rest the back knee. Walk your hands back in. And you may just need to wriggle that left foot a little bit further forwards so that you can straighten. Might not fully come straight. You don't have to lock the knee out at all, but you just want to feel this stretch underneath the left leg. And you're almost trying to pull the mat back. So this idea of trying to pull the thigh in towards you. And then we're going hands over the left leg. Maybe off the yoga mat. That will give you more side stretch. So it's left hamstring, right side of the body. And the further you reach, the more of a challenge you're going to get there. Breathe. Relax the head and the neck, the shoulders. Three. And two. Slowly on one, bringing your hands back all the way over and just taking your left knee back next to your right knee. Take a big breath in here. And then big breath out, tuck the toes, lift back into downward facing, long stretch through the hips. So really noticing now maybe that left heel can also go a bit further down towards the floor, lifting the hips, lengthening through the waist. Bend your knees and walk your feet in towards your hands. So soften the body forwards. Relax the weight of the head. Slowly rounding the spine up to standing, so no rush. Slowly bring it all the way up. Take your arms up to the sky, same side stretch as we did before. So take your right hand, hold the left wrist and pull over to the right. See if you can take your hips further to the left. And then bring it back to center. Switch the hands. So left hand holds the right wrist, pull up and over. And then come back to center. And then soften, bend both knees, fold the body forwards, hands come down. Fingertips to the floor, wriggle your feet out wide, so about the width of your mat. Toes might be turned out a little, depends on how your hips are. And you're going to try and come down into a squat position. So try and lower into that squat. Your heels might be lifted to start with, but just wriggle around a bit in that space. So kind of rock side to side. See if you can lift the chest a little so you're not leaning so far forwards. This might not be, if your heels are both very lifted, then just stay here, kind of moving around.
If you can settle your heels flat to the floor, reach your right arm out to the side and then open your left arm up towards the sky. Might be able to do that with one heel lifted as well. I'm not sure how that will go. And then slowly bring it back down and just go to the other side. And then slowly bring that side down. Just come forwards and make your way to all fours again, hands and knees. Coming back to similar stretch that we did at the start, but we'll add a balance. So your right hand and your right knee stay where they are. Take your left leg back and reach your left arm up to the sky. So you come into that side plank. Now, just kick your right foot out behind you slightly so you're a bit more stable with that right shin. Lift your left leg off the floor. So you're balancing on just the right hand and the right knee, right foot. And then if you want to, bend that top knee. So trying to pull the left heel into the back of the hip and maybe with the left hand reach. You might grab your yoga trousers before you grab your ankle. You can kind of work down to your ankle. Hold that, or you're just holding that balance, and the balance might be with the knee bent and the left arm lifted. And then slowly extend, bring the hand and the knee down. And we just switch to the other side. So take your right leg back, lift your right arm up. And then you just want to slightly position that left foot out to the side so you feel more stable. Lift your right foot off the floor. There's more strength if you actually you just bend that foot in and hold it. There's actually more activity than if you take the bind, because you're actually working that right hamstring here and that right glute. Whereas as soon as we grab a hold, we do take some of that work out. So you can go for the bind if you like. There's the advantage of opening the chest and the shoulders, but maybe it's nice to do a bit of both. You decide. And then slowly take it all the way back, hands to the floor. Take your knees out wide on the yoga mat and your toes point back together, and take it all the way back into a child's pose. And see how deep you can take that child's pose. So just move into it, maybe rock side to side. See if you can really kind of nestle the hips back into space and rest your forehead. If your forehead doesn't come down, then use the hands as somewhere to rest the forehead. And just breathe. So big, deep breaths. Breaths that stretch the hips back towards the heels. So breaths that really help you lengthen the lower back. And just soften the shoulders. See if you can just bring a bit more space around the side of the neck. Tops of the shoulders, side of the neck. Spreading the shoulder blades wide. So we did that exercise really early on where we moved the shoulder blades on the back. So use that movement now and let the shoulder blades draw and relax out to the sides. You've got lots of length in the side of the waist that we've created, so you can really move those hips back. Take a big breath. And exhale. Slowly rise up, 2 or 4s. Walk your knees towards your hands. And just cross your legs, have a seat. Take both legs out, give them a bit of a shake around from side to side. And then about the width of your yoga mat is as wide as they need to be. Just bring your left foot in, left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Turn and face the right toes. Pull the right toes back to the face, fingertips either side of the right leg. And then just try and walk your fingertips forwards. Walking forwards, toes pulling back. Feel that stretch down the back of the right leg. Look towards your knee, so you're not straining the back of the neck. And just try and take your body further forwards. Inhale to lengthen the spine. And exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine, almost like there's this lift in the lower back. And then exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Now, just the same as we did before in our hamstring stretch, take both hands outside of the right foot. So there's a little bit more stretch in the left side of the waist, into the left side of the torso. Try and keep that left seat bone pushing down and stretch through the left side. Still stretching the right hamstring. Also stretching the left side of the body. So there's this long stretch that's coming from the left fingertips down through the left shoulder, left hip, and then round the back of the right leg. Allow that to unravel as you come all the way up. And just go the other way. So extend your left leg out and bring your right leg in. Shift so you're facing down to the right toes, and then you just slowly come forwards with the toes pulling back to the face. So with that foot nice and active, look down towards the knee. So no crease lines in the back of the neck. Stay there for a few breaths. First of all, you inhale to lift, and then exhale, can you come a bit further forwards? Inhale, length. Exhale, forwards. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, fold. If you want to try and bring the side stretch into it, then your right hand comes outside of the left foot. Might be left shin, you might not be all the way down. That's just where I am, but we're all very, very different. So trying to reach over to the left and feel that into the right side of the body. And sometimes we put our hands on the rib cage and really breathe into the side of the ribs. Really try and breathe into that right rib cage. Okay, and slowly roll that up. Take both legs out to the side, give them a shake. Just a bit of a wriggle from side to side. And then scoot your hips forward so you've got space to roll back, plant the feet, reach the arms out, pull the waist in, and just slowly take that down. Pulling navel to spine, rolling down. Keep the feet planted. Bring the left ankle onto the right knee and hold behind the right thigh. So figure of four stretch. So left ankle, right knee, and you're pulling that right thigh in. Get into the outside of the left hip. If your left elbow sits inside of the left thigh, depends how much you're able to pull the legs in, but if you can pull it in so much that that left elbow can actually push the left thigh out. So you're pulling in with the hands and maybe pushing out with the left elbow, if that doesn't complicate things too much. Pull in. Try and keep the head and the shoulders relaxed. So the pull is almost coming from the biceps and the elbows rather than the shoulders. Okay, slowly let that go. Just switch to the other side. So your right ankle comes on the left thigh. Reach through behind the left thigh and pull in. It'll all be different side to side, so don't worry if one side is shockingly tighter than the other side. Maybe your right elbow can push the right thigh. Just maybe, doesn't have to. And head is relaxed. Waist is drawing in. Feel that stretch in the outside of the right hip. Okay, and then just carefully let that release. As we started, just take both legs up to the sky. If you've got the space, take the arms out wide. If you don't quite have the space, just let them fall overhead. And imagine someone's placing something heavy on top of the feet, and the weight of that is going down the legs to the hips. There's like this downward force from the feet to the ankles to the knees. And then if someone was to lift that weight off, there'd be this sensation of lightness in the feet and the ankles. Give the ankles a bit of a roll around. So freedom in the ankle joints. Point and flex the toes a couple of times, stretching into the calves. And then just cross the knees in, rock yourself up to a seat. We'll finish seated today. So bring yourself all the way up. Sit nice and tall, just rest the hands onto the knees. And whichever way we all have one way that we normally cross the legs. Just try and go the other way for a few moments. We're not going to be here too long. Rest the hands on the knees. You'll notice how awkward it feels, but it's a good practice to balance things out. Just flip the palms so they face up and the shoulders are soft. And take a nice long breath in. And a nice long breath out. And we'll finish with a breathing exercise. So I'll count the breath, but I'll just let you know what we're going to do first. So we're going to breathe in for 4. We'll hold for 4. Breathe out for 4. Hold for 4. So we'll go all together. You can take a few rounds to get into it. So just one big breath to start. So breathe in through the nose. Sigh out through the mouth. And then breathe all the way in. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in your own count now. Because maybe you can hold it a bit longer, or maybe you need a bit less time. You decide. Finish the round you're on and then do 3 more full rounds. No need to rush. And when you finish, just pick up an easy breath. And maybe notice if that easy breath is naturally a little bit longer, a bit softer. Kind of slow the heart rate and just calm the body, calm the mind. And then bring the hands into prayer heart center. Thank yourself for making time to come and practice this morning. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday.